If you're ready for change, then we have to have some kind, honest conversation. If you're ready for 2025 to be the year where you look back and you're like, oh, I cannot believe I did all of that, it is going to require change.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode with Dr. Latifat. I am excited about the episode that you're about to listen, and it is going to be so helpful for you if you're a woman physician who earns multiple six figures. Maybe this is you. You earn good amount of money. When you think back at your life in the past and you look to what you're earning right now, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, this would have been a dream come true. You're earning income, multiple six figures, maybe even seven figure, but it doesn't feel like it. Things still feel tight every month. And even though you're quote unquote may not think you're broke, absolutely, but there's that stress that you're feeling every month before the next paycheck comes. And you're like, if our paycheck ends in 1 or 2 months, I don't know that we will survive. I don't know that we'll be okay. For you, if this applies to you, you probably may be carrying some shame as well because you're like, how can I even tell people when they see my pay stub, when they see my tax papers, they see the gross amount that I'm earning from my business, from my practice, from my W 2. And at the end of the day, when I'm looking at my account, it doesn't look like it's reflecting that. Or maybe you're someone that actually knows your financial net worth, and you're like, when I calculate my financial net worth, it is less than what I earn in a year, and I've been practicing for many years. If that's you, you're going to absolutely love this episode because what I'm going to break down is what you can do and how you can start to fix this right now if this applies to you. For those that are new in my world, I'm Dr. Latifat. I'm the founder of MoneyFit MD, which is the podcast you're listening to right now. But also, I've been the founder of a money school for women physicians, which is our 12 months coaching program where I walk women physicians earning good income that want to have more money, have more freedom, and build wealth. We also started this thing recently, which you may not be aware because I haven't talked too much about it, but it is a done with broke money system, which is a course that you can buy right now and start to learn how you can build your financial foundation so that regardless of where you are in your finances, as long as you're like Latifat, I want to build my confidence, my knowledge, I want to have my financial house in order. It is a resource that you can actually get access and purchase right now. And the link to that is moneyfitmd.com/DWB dot with broke. We'll make sure that the link is in the show notes. I have coached so many women physicians, and I have to tell you that if the scenario that I described earlier applies to you, like don't feel any shame, don't feel judged at all. It is very, very common. And I will actually share a very, very specific example of someone that came to me a little over a year ago. Again, I have so many examples of this. But when she came to me, her thing was that, she was earning income, she was earning good income in her practice. Um, However, every month she was worried and stressed about money. She felt constrained, she felt tight. A lot of her focus was like how to pay off debt, how to pay off debt, but she never felt like she had a lot or had enough. Right? She knew that she wanted freedom. She knew that she wanted to spend time. She knew that she didn't want to take call anymore. But the idea of any change in her paycheck felt like it was literally going to pull the carpet from under her feet because we're not even thriving right now. We don't even have a lot to show for what we earn. So how can I even imagine cutting down at work or stopping call? How can I imagine like moving forward with a dream that we had of like buying our dream home? How can I like literally there was so much stress when it came to finances, and many of you guys know what that can lead to. That can lead to spouses fighting, that can lead to you being angry and irritable with your kids. That can lead to you even getting burnt out even faster because now you're not just working because you want to work, but you're also working because it doesn't feel like you have a choice. And you're like, if I can just like get a breather, if I can just like change the scenario a little bit, which was the case for her. So this particular physician I'm talking about reached out and she was like, I don't know how we're gonna make this work, but I know that I need help. And I will tell you that a year later, her journey and her
her reality is so different, where her debt is no longer controlling her life. She's paying off her debt. She has a plan for that. She's actually accelerated her debt payoff. She's been able to buy her dream home, where she's able to take care of her kids in a way that is different, in a way that she actually enjoys. She's able to spend time with them, like have breakfast, just worry less angry, less irritable, right? She stopped taking calls because that's something she's always dreamed of being able to do, even though she couldn't really envision the path from where she was to being able to eliminate call from her life and her reality. She's, buying assets now. She's investing in passive investment for long-term wealth building, right? And that is stuff that she did literally within a year of working together. So if that's your story or the before was your story, I just want to encourage you right now that there is hope. But the question is, are you ready to bridge the gap? So if you're ready to bridge the gap, then you're going to find this episode super duper duper helpful. And I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you're not just learning only, but like you actually are starting to apply the stuff that you're hearing from the things that I'm going to start today. So this is the scenario. You earn, maybe you are single, you have a single income family, or maybe you have a spouse. But when you look at the gross income that's coming in, you guys actually earn good money. You're earning $300,000, 400, 500, 600, 700, 1 million, whatever amount of money you're earning. And now, though, like when you look at the input, and then you look at the end of the month, you're like, I don't understand what's happening. And for many of you guys that feel that way, you probably don't think that you're spending exorbitantly. Like, you're not like, I'm not taking first class flights every week. I mean, yes, I like traveling. Yes, I like creating memories because I know that time is of value. But it doesn't make sense to you that what's coming in looks that way after the expenses, looks that way, even though now you've been in practice for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And you're like, I don't know what's happening. Okay. So I will tell you that there are a couple of things that will probably help you. And I want you to kind of like think of this and just sort of flow with me as I break it down for you. Okay. The first question, if this is the first question you want to ask yourself is, what is actually coming in? Because many times, many of us may not know what's coming in. You know that you signed a contract for an amount. You know that maybe the amount has changed over years because they've increased your income based on inflation, or maybe even have variable income because you own your own practice. So what comes in, grows into the practice, is variable every month. And yes, you're paying yourself a salary, but you're not following the flow of what is actually happening when it comes to the finances, right? So the very first step is just being kind to yourself and look at what exactly is coming in. From me, what's coming in from my partner, from my spouse, if that applies to you. Okay? That's number one. It's just what is happening to the money that is coming into our life. And then the next step is now like, where is that money actually going? The money is coming to our life, but where is it going? For many of us, what happens is we turn this into like a gumbled up mess where we're like painting with light red strokes. And if that's the case, it may explain why it feels like the money is disappearing and you don't even know what's happening to it. And so the key is you want to paint with like thinner brush strokes and look into the details and be more specific of what is actually happening after this money comes into my world. Okay? So many people would go, well, it's going into paying all of this loans. It's going into paying all of this rent, all of this mortgage. But then when I ask for specifics, there are times when it's like, well, maybe I'm earning a gross of like $40,000 a month, $30,000 a month. But when I actually look at my net, what is actually coming into your bank account after taxes and maybe some deductions, um, that may be, I don't know, $20,000. But then, even though you're like, my money is going towards all this rent and all this mortgage and all this student loans, when you actually look at the numbers, your student loans may be like $2,000, or your mortgage may be like $3,000, which again, now there's now a delta of $17,000 that's not accounted for. So instead of grossly overestimating and not looking at the specifics, the question is, where exactly is it going? how can I account for the money that's coming into my life and where exactly it's going? So now you're looking at what your money is going, you're looking at your bank statements. Like, let's look at last month. Where did the money go? Was it going towards eating? Was it going towards eating out? Was it coming towards groceries? Was it coming towards kids? Because kids can be high expense. Was it going to private school for the kids? Was it going into how much are you even investing into things like the stock market? How much is going into debt payment? How much is going into your savings account? Are you building an emergency fund? Like, looking at the specifics of where your money is going. And this is where many times budgeting comes into the place. But, I don't strict budget. I like spending plan. So, like, what exactly is happening based on categories? And this is where apps can be very helpful. And I used to be a mint lover, but mint is no more. There are wine app lovers out there. There is personal capital. I did an episode about a year ago that talks about a year ago. Time flies, man. I did an episode about a year ago that talks about some of the apps that are in right now that people are using. There's Rocket Money. There's so many other options, but Credit Karma has something going on. There's no perfect system. Find one that works. But even if you don't have a system, you can literally use a spreadsheet if you like spreadsheet and Excels. But the question is just classifying into what is actually happening and what categories is my money going. And you may be surprised by what you see. You may be surprised that it's more, and this is what I found, that mindlessness and unintentional spending is actually more of the culprit than anything else. It's not like someone is coming to steal all your multiple five figures from your account. It's like you're not actually being intentional about where your money is going. And when you don't know where your money is going, where all we're doing is like swiping, it starts to create a distance between us and where our money is going. Some people do cash. I don't think it's necessarily the best because I lose cash and I just don't want to do cash, right? But the downside of a lot of the swiping that is done is it starts to put a deep distance between you and what you actually are using your money for. So you have to be more intentional, like how much is going towards your insurance, your home insurance, your disability insurance, your life insurance. You actually have those or not. Many physicians don't actually have sufficient life insurance. Many physicians may not have the appropriate disability insurance. Like, are you making sure that you're taking care of yourself? And sometimes it's not a matter of like spending more, it's just spending differently. So again, there's nothing shocking about what I've talked about so far. There's nothing difficult about what I've talked about so far. It's just asking yourself the simple question of where is the money going? What is coming in? Where is it going? Okay. And then the third part of it that I'm going to talk about is many times what ends up happening is that we either don't know where the money's going, right? And the money may actually be going to what is helpful for you. But because you're not looking, you're freaking out when you should not be freaking out. Like, I cannot tell you how many times women come into my community, and because now we're teaching them, we're coaching them, providing support, accountability, and we're really giving them the tools to stop freaking out when it comes to money. Now they're able to look at money with less anxious energy. And now they actually start to look at their money and find out that they had money that they did not even know. I cannot tell you how many times women are like, oh my goodness, I have 401ks in many places. I had Roth IRAs. I did not even know. So I'm freaking out that I don't have money. Meanwhile, I did have money that I did not even know. But there's no way you will know if you don't look. There's no way you're going to know if you're like freaking out about it. So you may actually have money but not know. And so you're living in scarcity when you should be having the peace of mind that comes with abundance. Well, you're leaving that out because you're not looking, because you're just freaking out. There's a story you have in your mind that you're believing that is causing you to stress out about money, and that is actually hurting you, where you're dying in the midst of plenty, where you're stressing out when you should not be stressing out, when you could have stopped freaking out if you only knew what you actually had. Okay? The second reason why that I found is that people actually were not buying assets. And assets in general are things that increase in value, that increase your wellness, and increase your earnability in the future. Okay? So the things that I believe are assets are I'm buying a property, I'm investing in a business through the stock market, I'm investing in the real estate investment through the stock market. Maybe you're buying things like Bitcoin, if that is appropriate for you in your allocation of how you want to invest your money. Maybe you're spending on your wellness, you're spending on traveling with the family, you're spending on coaching, you're spending on learning skill sets that is going to increase your earnability, right? Those are all assets that I define as assets. And maybe for you, you're not doing that. You're not spending on that. And that's why you're not having assets. And it's so important to know the difference between earning money versus having wealth. If you are not buying assets that would increase in value over time and put money into your pocket over time, you are not growing your assets. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you earn $1 million. If you're not buying things that will work for you, that will generate money for you, if you're not planting trees that is going to like harvest fruits for you, you're not going to grow wealth. You may have money, but you're not going to have wealth. And money actually decreases in value over time. If you have cash because of inflation, it's decreasing in value over time. So if you have $1 million today in cash, 3 years from now, the value's gone down because of inflation. The buying power of that cash has gone down. So unless you actually put your money in a vehicle that goes up with time, you are losing money. So that's why cash is not wealth. Cash is cash, and there is benefit for having cash, but you want wealth. So part of the reason why your multiple 6-figure or 7-figure income may not feel like it is because you don't have assets. And I've literally had women physicians that are coming to my community that are like, Latifat, my income did not change, but my wealth grew. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. It gets me so excited to see women that are doing that. They're like, it's amazing. I'm clear minded. I have more peace of mind. I am growing my net worth. I'm cutting down at work and I'm having more. Sometimes they're like, it doesn't make sense. The reason why it's working is because you're following the principles around money and wealth building. And when you follow principles, they work. When you don't follow principles, it hurts you. When you follow principles, it rewards you, right? And then the last but not the least reason why many women physicians that will be earning multiple 6-figure and even 7-figure income will not feel like it is because they are leaking money. They're buying things that's not appropriate for the seasons of their life. It's not that what you're spending on is wrong. It's not wrong to spend money traveling. It's not wrong to spend money eating. It's not wrong to maybe have whole life insurance if you are one of the small subset of people that would benefit from it. Most people don't actually benefit in the seasons when they're sold on it. And so if you're spending multiple 4 figures on whole life insurance, when you have a bunch of debt, when you don't have assets, you're not growing your net worth, you may not be the right candidate for it. There are very, very small set of people that actually benefit from whole life. Very, very tiny. It's oversold, it's overbought, and many people, there's a reason why there are companies that exist to help you get out of whole life insurance. Because for most people, it hurts more than it helps. Yes, I'm saying that. Very small subset of people actually benefit from it. And if you're spending multiple 4 figures on whole life insurance, because if it's been sold to you as an investment vehicle, where you in a season of life where you have no business owning whole life insurance, it may be time for you to consider getting out of it because that may be multiple 4 figures that you're leaking every month, right? Maybe you've bought into the nonsense that culture says that your kids should be in like 5 billion activities, right? Maybe you bought into the part, like I will be honest with you guys. When my kids were young, I would buy clothes from Once Upon a Child. I love Once Upon a Child. Once Upon a Child is like amazing. They sell, if they have it in your city, or you can like do like clothes swapping. Kids, you breathe on them and they grow. Like literally my kids were outgrowing things like within a month. And I'm like, why am I spending all this money buying all those things when those kids are just like oxygen gets on them and they grow? And now it's like their feet is like poking out of that onesie that he just spent a lot of money buying. Like, what's the point? In my opinion, that was not adding value long term, right? These I could buy like good quality clothes that they can wear for 2, 3 months, and then I can take it back to Once Upon a Child and do an exchange. or you can do like a swap in your neighborhood. I remember buying like a box of clothes from a physician actually that sold a bunch of like designer clothes that our kids did not want for like $100. I'm like, like they're they're just gonna like kids are gonna eat dirt anyway. So why are you wasting money when you could be taking the delta and putting it into an educational fund for them every month? Like their seasons, there's nothing wrong in buying bougie for your kids, but if you're feeling tight at multiple six-figure, seven-figure, then you need to find out where the leaks are. And sometimes the leaks are gonna be big, and there are times when the leaks are gonna be small, right? There's no one size fits all. Maybe you overbought on a house because everybody thought that income equals wealth when income is not wealth, asset is wealth. And so maybe you bought into the belief that you were earning, $600,000, but they ignore the fact that you have like $300,000 in student debt that is not going to qualify potentially for any loan forgiveness programs, right? So it's so important for you to make sure that we're not listening to culture. It's so important for you to make sure that we're not following the one size fits all. But if you're ready for change, then we have to have some kind, honest conversation, right? Because at the end of the day, you want change. Change is not going to happen if you're continuing the same pattern and expecting a different result. Change is going to happen when we sweat out thoughts, when we sweat out beliefs, when we start like swap out assumptions, when we swap out stories. So whatever stories that have brought you to this point is only going to keep you here at this point. But if you're ready to have freedom, if you're ready for 2025 to be the year where you look back and you're like, oh, I cannot believe I did all of that. I cannot believe I have all this passive income investments. I cannot believe that I was able to cut down at work. I cannot believe that I was able to start out work later. I cannot believe that I was able to take a dream vacation and actually have peace of mind because we're not stressed out about money. It is going to require change. But if you listen to this podcast, it means that you are ready for change. So, the three things, again, just to summarize, the three actions that I want you to ask yourself and take actions from, because you're not just listening to this podcast to listen, you're listening to change. You're listening to make a difference so that, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, you can be one of the doctors that are living a life of breathability, a life of liberation. And the question is, what is coming in? Where is it going? Right? How do I start to buy things that increase in value? How do I start to pay for things that increase the earnability? Of my life? How do I start to pay for things that increase the skills of my life? And how do I eliminate things that are not appropriate for my goals in this specific season? That is wisdom. And I celebrate you. I celebrate the actions that you're going to take. And this is what I imagine. I imagine that you're going to take action as a result of this. I imagine that you're going to take one or two things and go apply it into your life. And 3 months from now, 2 months from now, you're going to send me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, and you're going to go, oh my goodness, Dr. Latifat, thank you so much for speaking into my life, because now my life is different. Now my energy is different. Now my stress level is different because I listened, I heard, and I took action. And of course, if I can be of service, if you're like, Latifat, this is great, but I know that I'm going to need support. I know that I need to change my entire way of thinking about this. I know that I need support from a community of women that are doing this, that have done this. I need examples of what's possible. I need to help me like work on my mindset, to change my thoughts, to give me the strategies. If that's you, then what I would encourage you to do is, if you're a woman physician or dentist, go to this link, moneyfitmd.com/call, CALL. You can schedule a call. There are some questions, and answer those questions. It is going to help you. And you can schedule a call where we can go through your situation, your goals, and see if the money school is where we can help you. We don't accept people that we cannot help. And I've told people no before on the call. And that my goal is to help. My goal is to serve. And our goal is to make sure that the women that are coming in are those that we can serve. And the way you do that is by going on that, go to moneyfitmd.com/call. But there's some of you guys that are like, Latifat, this is helpful, but I'm not ready to go all in yet. But I would love it if you can I'm ready though to change some patterns. I'm ready to acquire knowledge about, like, if I can just find someone to teach me what to do, how to go from how to actually take the step by step of looking at my spending, how to take the step by step of how to look at my debt, how to come up with a debt plan, how to understand, like, there's so many lingos around investment that I don't understand. It's that's why it's scary for me to look at my what I'm earning. It's scary for me to look at my investment because I'm like, I don't know what a 401k is. I don't know what a 403b is. I don't know what Roth IRA is. Like, what's estate planning? Like, I just would like a place to start the basic stuff that feels basic in my mind, but I don't know it. If that's you, I have a resource for you as well. And what you can do is go to moneyfitmd.com/DWB, Done with Broke. We have created a course that is DIY. You can do it yourself. Literally, it's like 8 weeks module of, I would be honest, this is the specific knowledge that helped me personally go from negative 200K to having 7-figure net worth within 5 years. All of that is distilled down into breathable, fun, digestible form for you so that you will not be overwhelmed by the knowledge. You will not be overwhelmed by the information. You can pace yourself. There's like some worksheets that will be helpful for you so that you can integrate this information and apply it into your life. And so you can go again, moneyfitmd.com/call. If you're like, Latifat, I want to go all in. I need support. I'm not even going to mess around. I need help. I want your women. I want you. Can you please help me? That is where you go to schedule a call. But if you're like, okay, Latifat, I just need the basic to start. I want to learn myself. I want to just do it on my own, but I need concise information. So I'm not going on Google, wasting time. There's so much information. It's not specific for women physicians. I want what is replicable, what has worked for you and many other women physicians. And it cannot get more simple than what I've recorded and distilled down into the Done with Broke money system. And that's at moneyfitmd.com/DWB. Go there right now, check it out. And if it's something that looks like it'll be helpful for you, I made it for you. I've used the information, it's transformed my life, but I created it so that we can support women physicians at a price point that may be easier for you in the season of your life. So I hope this has been helpful. If it has been, I want you to send this to other women physicians that could benefit. I'm on a mission to reach hundreds of thousands of women physicians. And it starts by you sharing this with your women in your community that maybe are struggling with the same thing that you're struggling with too as well. I love you. Don't forget to leave us a review. It really, really does help us. It helps other people find us. And it's a way of letting me know that this is adding value to your life. Thank you so much for being part of my world. I'm rooting for you. To your rich light, Dr. Latifat.